All right, this is from Clutch Points, man. Zion Williamson's situation is beyond repair with the Pelicans, so expect Joe Dumars, the trade which to deal with trade rumors until deal is made. So this is something that shout out to Dotson. He's basically sourcing the information from NBA insider Brett Siegel, who kind of threw this information. He was one of the ones that put this out, period, about what's going on. Pelicans find themselves at a crossroads. Once promising era centered around Zion, teetering on the edge of collapse. I think it's over with, fam. What began as a story of untapped potential has devolved into a saga of constant uncertainty, trade rumors, frustration, reevaluation. Large sources indicate, or league sources rather, indicate that the tide has fully turned in this Crescent City, marking a pivotal shift in the season's direction. Once what once felt like a franchise carefully orbiting around all-world wonder now resembles an organization prepared for life after him, which is, like I said, shout out to Joe Dumas when he came in here. He traded CJ McCollum and others to pick up Poole and Sadiq Bey, who came in. Now, Poole is not doing what we thought he was going to do. He's still hurt with this injury, but Sadiq Bey was everything we thought, even outplaying some of the guys that were here, and you know who in particular I'm talking about. And also the drafting of not only just Fears and Queen, but Peavy as well. These were really solid moves. So he knew that was the fallback option. These two young players help Zion win, or Zion, if he can't step up, he out of here, and we'll pivot to them with Trey Murphy and whoever else he won't keep around. So Joe Dumars set himself up, man, to have some options. Saying goodbye to Willie Green was only the first necessary yet largely symbolic step in what many believe is the beginning of a full house cleaning. The Pelicans are 3-20. Just cannot buy a lucky bounce is showing up in the standings. From suffering three demoralizing blowouts without half the roster available to Williamson walking to defend gut wrenching game winners for opponents. The blown opportunities are numerous. All of the misfortune to begin this year have also taken a toll on the team's overall morale. With Williamson sidelined for another 3 weeks, it's going to be full. With a right abductor strain calls for a definitive split. It's going to be 4 weeks, fam. Y'all know how they extend this stuff. Both inside and outside for the Smoothie King Center. The next major domino resulting in Williamson's departure is all but inevitable. Multiple league sources told Clutch Sports is all starting to leak out as well. Joel Myers did everything but release a name dropping mixtape during a recent broadcast. One league source expressed a belief to Clutch Points that, quote, the first decent, reasonable offer, end quote, made for Zion will be acceptable. The same source noted the haggling with Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver would be, quote, minimal, end quote, at this point, so as long as there is some tangible return. However, the path to a deal likely requires the Pelicans to sweeten the pot with their most coveted role players. That will take some finesse, and it seems everyone is being cautious about a very hard to calculate gamble. Williamson diminished value is common knowledge throughout the league, yet no team has rushed forward with an offer. The Pelicans find themselves with minimal leverage, a reality that has left Dumars and Weaver hesitant to aggressively shop their former cornerstone player before December the 15th, including defensive stalwarts Herb Jones, along with pieces like Yves Misi or Jose Alvarado, may be necessary to exit Zion business altogether. Alvarado is one of the few Pelican role players who have generated trade interest during the early portion of the season, according to sources. Herb trade connected to Zion trade rumors. Herb has been one of the most coveted two-way wings in the league, and the Pelicans have turned down multiple trade offers for him through the years. The Lakers, the Warriors, among a handful of Western Conference teams actively exploring ways to acquire Herb, league sources told Clutch Points. JJ Redick, Kerr have never been shy about their prediction for the avid fisherman from Alabama. Likewise, Williamson market is cold. The trade value for Trey remains robust and unchanged, a testament to his clear fit on a contender and all-star potential. There is a growing belief that Murphy III will be pushed as the face of the franchise, akin to the public MVP campaign former EVP David Griffin once made for Drew Holiday. Dumas was ridiculous with other front office this summer, asked the reporter Desmond Bain trade package in exchange for the 25-year-old sharpshooter, as one source said in June. Multiple first round picks, a certain contract, and a decent prospect are the starting points in any building bidding for Murphy's the third's services. This is a price that has not changed and likely won't anytime soon. The presence of scouts from Detroit, Brooklyn, New York Knicks, and Atlanta in recent week underscores the league-wide anticipation of a fire sale. This shifts points toward a full rebuild, a process the city understands deeply. All right. Zion's trade is a matter of time. New Orleans embraces a committed rebuild involving an ugly demolition and ground floor finagling better than most, as evidenced by the recovery post Katrina. Conversely, half measures have always hunted the Pelicans and New Orleans Saints with unfinished projects and unfulfilled promises lingering like tatering blue tarps on forgotten rooftops. Similarly, Williamson's game is unfinished. On court issues haven't improved in 6 seasons. The Duke alum still refuses to shoot threes. The mid range game, something he once worked on intensely with Witherspoon for years, remains absent. Williamson's scoring is efficient but predictable. Defenses know what's coming. In the modern NBA, predictability from your max salary star is a ceiling you can't coach your way through. Every title contender recognizes why Williamson will not work with their system. Finding someone needing to swing for the fences to make the chance without burning bridges or costing anyone's jobs is a delicate matter for a front office being laughed at through the national press. Dumars and Weaver may be burning the midnight oil, but meaningful negotiations have yet to materialize. Behind the scenes, there is a sense that the Pelicans still want to see what comes their way, but they have yet to aggressively shop their star teams still. Tides have turned, not with a wave, but with the slow, exorable pull of an organization choosing to move on, even if it means paying to make the pain stop. The question is whether the Pelicans will embrace a true reset or remain trapped in the late lottery section of the NBA standings, maybe making the playing tournament once or twice here or there. For a franchise and a city that deserve better, the time for one of the most difficult decisions a front office must make has arrived. The only question remains is whether the Pelicans will have the courage to make them decisively in December, January, or whether this will become yet another half-finished project in the city that's seen too many already scraps at the trade deadline, akin to the Brandon Ingram trade. New Orleans is finding out that moving a star at his lowest value is both painful and expensive. Unfortunately, the question is no longer if the Zion era ends, it's when and how much it'll cost New Orleans to break free. The hesitant, cautious, and increasingly attentive trade market understands the moment is coming. The Pelicans wanted the prep phenom to be the center of everything. Instead, Williamson uncertainty became the center of a whole bunch of nothing, at least when considering personal or postseason successes. All right, so I had to give y'all all of that one, man. That was a really
Pretty good
interesting
article.
article by Clump. Yeah, that was really good one. DC, go ahead, bro, and give your thoughts on the Zion, the
The
trade.
one thing I can't wrap my head around, and I hear a lot of people say this, they keep talking about it'll cost her or Trey Murphy to move Zion. Like, we can't just cut him. Like, we don't have to attach anybody to move him. Like, they could just cut him outright if that's what they won't do. So I don't be getting that standpoint. But like I said, to cut him outright, I mean, I don't see the point in that either. You can get something. At this point, it looked like another anticipation for a lot of nothing. Zion could possibly be moved during the season, but we know it ain't gonna happen no time soon, even if that's the case. I mean, he's not healthy right now. They're gonna at least let him get back on the court and try to do that. And I think ultimately, if they are getting any phone calls about him, they probably won't pull the trigger till the offseason anyway, because they don't know what team's gonna have what slots far as the picks. Obviously, nobody's probably gonna give you a top 5 pick for him or nothing. But you could get, a mid round possible first if he proves he's healthy. And what does it benefit you to I guess trade him right now for nothing and give up Herb or Trey to get a minimal return. So it had to be a fair offer that somebody presents. I actually heard that being thrown around. I don't remember what article that was. They say the Pels are willing to take the first fair offer that's put up for Zion. There may be some truth to that. But far as this situation that he's speaking of here and attaching these players just to move Zion, I don't think that happens. If it's that serious and they just want to cut ties with him, they just cut him.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that in terms of the fact that they can't move him right now because he hurt, and you won't see Zion until 2026. But he's not the only other guy that the Pelicans are going to get rid of. I mean, we have these other guys here. We have three players here that even if we're not talking about Herb Jones, right? And I think before a lot of people was kind of locked on Herb, but I think the idea of trading Herb Jones because Sadiq Bey is doing what Herb Jones doing. I mean, he's literally out playing Herb. Herb can't stay healthy. He's in and out of the lineup. He can't be counted on. And Herb was supposed to be back like what a couple of games ago, based on a lot of this stuff. But you don't hear
Man,
any updates on
Q,
these guys,
Q. I'm still Jordan Poole has been doing basketball activities since the day before Thanksgiving. Q.
which that's telling you, DC,
It's
that these a
it
lot of
is
these
now
guys are
December 4th.
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is obviously what's going on right here. You can if you look
And James
into
Borrego say he ain't practiced with the team. It's like what's going on?
well, the thing is, bro, what's interesting is Jordan Poole. If you looking at the motions, Jordan Poole don't. It appears he don't want to play for the Pelicans. That's what's going on. Um, and he was brought in. And the reality is, he came here because he was supposed to be a part of a triad of Zion, Poole, and Trey to lead the team forward. The team is 3-20 right now. They've obviously understood and known that it is an incredible. Hold on, it's an incredible hole that they would have to win at least 10 games to get relevant again. Like just go on a winning spree and win like 10 games in a row. This team can't even play four consistent quarters of football to earn a victory. They consistently allow stuff to slip through their hands. They have confidence issues, they have intelligence issues on what to do, and it's constant failure. And we know we got young players here, but there are three players that's on the Pelicans team, including Zion Williamson, that are worth more than $30 million a year. Jordan Poole has, like you said, I think Jordan Poole was pissed off at Willie Green when he set him on the bench because it's very interesting. Like DC, we know this, that most people, they didn't do that to CJ McCollum when he was making that kind of money, will not sit their $30 million player on the bench
He needed
for.
it.
Right, but I get that. But I'm saying the money usually like what happened with Herb. The moment Herb is healthy, he gonna step in that starting lineup again. Why? Because Herb, the money talks, bullshit walks. He's making $13 million a year. The other guy's making less than half of what Herb's making, even though he's out playing them. So the money talks. If you're paying your players that kind of money, soon as they're healthy enough to play, they're gonna get back into the starting lineup because the money has to be justified. So for you to have a guy that making $30 million coming up off the bench, the only rationale is whoever the guy that he's ahead of, that's ahead of him, has to be making 30. You got DeJounte Murray, he making 30 million. So you got three players that are not even factors in helping you do anything, that are over $100 million worth of players that are all hurt. And it's obviously a pivot to what Joe's backup plan was, these phenomenal rookies. The plan is, okay, he knew this. He's like, okay, we're going to try Zion because we know that. He was going to give Zion a shot under his administration to see if he can make it work. He gave him some help, Poole, and you had Trey. DeJounte was obviously not going to be a factor because the season is pretty much going to be decided when January comes around with the Pelicans. If they'll be within 5 wins, or if they're above 500 or just below 500, then that's a different thing than a team that's 3-20. So I know Jordan Poole doesn't appear to want to play for the Pelicans anymore. They're not going to tell anybody that, but they could be soliciting a trade with Poole. They could be soliciting, will be, once DeJounte Murray is healthy, and the same with Zion Williamson. They're pivoting away from these expensive players. They are. they're pivoting away. So they'll try to find a trade for Jordan and a trade for Murray and a trade for Zion once the time comes, whether they're this year or whether it's into the offseason. DC, some kind of way, they're going to find a way to get these players off of the team and try to flip them into picks or resources or assets that fit what Fears and Trey and what Queen is about. That's what the philosophy is, to go with the young guys into the future. Why not? You got to make this lost time count for something. So this is what it is. If the Zion plan was like Zion's failed, DC, we Poole and all these other guys with Zion fails, that we pivot to the young guys. That's why we were so aggressive in the draft.
I think it's the Pelicans. I don't think it's Poole at all, because that don't make sense. Like, if you don't want to be here,
so it's the Pelicans stopping Poole from playing?
Yeah. If you don't want to be here and you want to get traded, I think the best thing for you to do is to get on the court and ball out. You know who I think possibly might want to get traded? And nobody anything about Saddiq Bey. He playing and building up that value. Man, you can't tell me we pick up the phone right now. You get you a couple of seconds for Saddiq Bey.
Like, I wouldn't do it.
If he want, no, I'm just saying, if the man want out of here, what you gonna do? He on a 1-year contract. We don't have no bird rights on him. If he want out of here, you gotta trade him. So my thing is with Poole is, if he wants to, don't want to be here, don't want to play for him, I think he would be even more eager to get on the court and actually play. But the Pelicans are looking at Fears, man, and what he's doing. And like you said, you make a whole bunch of sense with that money. If you put Jordan Poole back out there, man, especially with the situation being as dire as it is very hard to try to talk yourself into benching him. And our defense is horrid, so it's almost impossible to consider playing Fears and Poole together, especially without Herb. So maybe Jordan Poole and Herb Jones is a package deal. Herb Jones come back, Poole ready, you roll them out there together. Or you just you're not gonna bring Fears to the bench. Poole can't go back to the bench. I think Poole was willing to go to the bench on a team that was actually winning. The team fully stocked, fully healthy, with the capability of playing some meaningful minutes. Man, that man do not want to repeat what he was dealing with last year in Washington, right? Where you can't get on the court, not because you're not good enough, because they ain't want to win. And they got some younger guys and they're trying to see what they can do. So it's almost a similar situation to where he was, and I could see him wanting to be traded. But him, like, I'm a milk the injury to not play. I don't know, man. It don't make sense for somebody who want to get out of here. You're on a $30 million contract. If you're not playing and showing what you can do, nobody gonna trade for you, and we can't cut him. So I think what Fears is doing was keeping them. Well, okay, Jordan, we're gonna bring it back slow, and let's see. They trying to see, man. We can't act like Fears is not getting better every game. Every game, man, he keeps getting better. He just keeps getting better and better. It's not contributing to wins, but he's actually improving. His 3-point shot is James Borrego was just saying in the pregame interview, he wants Fears to shoot more threes because he's a very capable 3-point shooter. You see what he does out in transition. Everybody said he can't get assists. Well, the last 3-4 games, he didn't have 4+ assists. So defensively, he's improving, although he still has a lot of lapses there. But he's going to get you some goddamn steals. So they looking at what he doing, man, and you can't a 19-year-old playing at the level he playing, man, and he's starting. It's like you just can't go backwards on him and talking about taking him out the start lineup and putting him back on the bench. So I think that's what it is, Q. They may have to attempt to play him and Jordan together, but defensively, we can't do that shit. So watch when Herb come back. If when Herb come back, Jordan come back, you know I was right.
Well, I mean, like I said, bro, I feel the whole contention between where he was here, and like I said, you're right. I think Jordan Poole, once he does return, um, he might not be listed as a starter, but he'll be playing starter minutes. So I mean, he'll be out there with 28, 30 plus minutes, this sort of thing. He'll be playing in there because of the money
Oh,
and
well,
because of the fact that he can. Yeah, I think he could like it because like I
who you
said,
gonna start? You
he
gonna
can.
start Bryce McGowan over Jordan Poole?
I think he'll get in there, even if they got to cut down somebody else to make Jordan Poole work. They're gonna figure out a way to do it. I mean, it's this not it's nothing new. We've seen them do this before this season. When you have to figure out how you're gonna get these guys on the court at the same time. Eventually, you will gain Jordan Poole back. Eventually, you will get Herb Jones back. Eventually, you'll get the DeJounte Murray back. Eventually, because we're already in December. We got several weeks before Christmas roll around up in this piece, and before long, 2025 is going to be done with, and we'll be looking 2026 in the face, and you'll have all these guys back, and then then we'll see what they do. So like I said, man, it's just it's. I know for a fact that this whole Zion Williamson experiment is definitely over. I mean, it's he can't. It's just he's like the report we talked about Zion Williamson and how incredibly undeveloped his game is. It don't make any sense. It's unintelligent and lazy to me that he doesn't have a mid range shot at this time. And he should know as a player that this is what you're supposed to do. You need making $39 million a year. We paying a guy 39 million, can't stay healthy, and he don't have a mid range shot. He wants to run into the paint all the time and get beat up, fall on, knocked on his ass. DC say 8 to 10 times a game. I think it's more like 5, but I would give you that. He gets knocked down a lot of times in the game, and at some point, him hitting the floor that much is not good for him. And I would have thought that somebody around him would have figured out, hey, you know what? This guy gets knocked on his ass a lot lately, a lot during these games. Maybe we need to fix it where you need to learn how to shoot a mid-range shot because they're giving you 10 effing feet every time you get the ball. So maybe you need to take advantage of that. So whether it's
Who was ever gonna force him to do that when they couldn't
him,
get
nobody
him
other,
to go to
bro, and
treatments and stretches,
him,
do all that shit?
bro. I don't care about any of what you're talking about. He has to have that mindset. He's supposed to be a franchise player. That street. We talk about 3 level scores all the time, guys that impact 3 levels of the floor, whether it's offense or defense. This man is making $39 million a year. He is listed as the franchise player up until recently. Now he's not because he can't stay healthy as a side effect of him getting knocked down in the games. He's getting hurt not at the snack bar at his house. He's getting hurt in these games. That's the point where people ask the question. We talked about this before, and I hadn't heard this point from anybody. I kept saying, fam, he's getting hurt in the games. He's getting knocked down all these times in the game. And I'm like, why is this guy always running his ass over there when he knows that these guys are going to hit him and knock him down? And they're backing up and giving him 10 feet to shoot the damn ball. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why haven't all this time in 7 years you've been in the NBA? You don't have no side jobs. All you have to do is play basketball. People are playing, they're paying you millions of dollars to dribble a ball and to develop. You have access to all kind of stuff. Whether you got a gym in your house, you can go down to the facility and work out and practice and everything. You don't have a job. You're not doing this shit part-time. This is what you do. And for you not to be there in year 7 and keep doing the same shit you was doing in year 1, that's unintelligent to me and lazy. Because that guy watched other players, even the Charles Barkleys or whoever he acknowledged as great players that played the forward position, whether it was Karl Malone, Derek Coleman, whoever you got. Them guys had a mid-range shot. Even Karl Malone, who was a brute, would pull up and take that 10, 15-foot shot. He would take that shot on your ass. He would take the shot. Barkley would take a shot. Hell, Barkley shot threes.
What about
Whoever
Shaq?
Shaq is not him. That's not the same, bro. Shaq ain't no Zion Williamson. Shaq was a center.
Shaq was Shaq, but
Shaq was
Zion,
Shaq. That's a bad comparison.
Shaq, Giannis, and Zion is probably the closest I've seen to being how dominant at least he was with the extra weight on, man. Like nobody really can stop him going downhill.
Yeah, but DC at the same time, we know that
It's almost
Shaq
like
played.
the same Giannis shit, except he get hurt, man. He just can't sustain that.
Well, but the thing is, like we remember I talked about. You mentioned the Giannis thing. Some time ago, Giannis started realizing that to start developing the 3-point shot, Giannis shoots the three ball. And how did he get the three ball? Because some coach
Got his ass
came
kicked in the playoffs against Kawhi Leonard when Toronto won the championship that year. Remember?
right. It told him what you had to do.
They walled up and forced him to shoot, and he couldn't hit that shit.
Yep. And what would happen the next summer?
That
He
man
came
worked
through.
on it. He fixed it, and then what? 2 or 3 years later, he won a championship.
Remember we talked about this in the show, and I brought up the point, and I had the trivia question: who did the Bucks bring in to help Giannis work that 3-point shot? Put it in the chat. Let me remember if y'all remember. We had this discussion about this situation.
I don't remember.
Okay, you don't remember. Let's see if the family members do. We're gonna throw that to the family members. We talked about this a year ago when we had this same conversation about why Zion is undeveloped and why he doesn't have a shot. Like it is certain down you dominate an area of the court, but you can't do nothing else. You can't do. You don't have a mid range. They're not scared of you. They pack the paint against you. You gotta affect the game in multiple ways so that if they stop you one way, you can hit them with another way. This man is totally one dimensional. So who was the player? Let me see if the family members remember. Who was the guy that the Bucks head coach brought in to help the Giannis shoot 3-pointers? Let me see if y'all remember this. Because they probably, I don't know, this was a whiles ago. So I don't know if they're going to remember exactly who the coach was, or the man they brought in to help Giannis shoot those threes.
I mean, this is a Pelican show.
Still all these basketball people, DC, they watch other people now.
Yeah.
Just like you do. You watch the Puerto Rican and the Jamaican national basketball teams all the time. Oh, my bad.
The Pelicans sucked all of the love out the game for me, bro. I can't watch
my bad. I thought you was following the Jamaican national team. I thought you was kind of
follow none of that shit, man.
Okay, my bad.
I don't have a subscription to nothing. I can only watch the Pelicans. That's all.
Okay, my bad. I got some bad information. I thought you had the flag behind you. But anyway, let's keep it going, man. The bottom line, DC is acting crazy again. But the reality is, let's see. I don't think they know. I don't think they realize. I don't think they know who it is. Okay, since the panel members like you, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember what. No, it wasn't Kyle Carver. No, Slim. Good call though. No, it was actually John Stockton.
Well, holy shit! They brought John Stockton.
They brought in John Stockton.
How did they pull that off, man?
That was who was it?
I ain't seen John Stockton since he retired.
It was Coach Bud. I think it was Coach Bud that reached out to John Stockton and brought John Stockton in there to help Giannis shoot them 3-pointers, to get him comfortable with shooting that three. John Stockton came in. There was actually footage and there's pictures online with him at the thing working with Giannis shooting those threes. He actually did that. See, that's what I was talking about when you have a leader and a coach that understands that you'll go as far as your superstar take you, and if he has an incredibly limited game, then you don't have any options. If Zion Williamson had a competent mid-range shot that he went to consistently, then you would see a lot. You would see him more on the court more, and it will open up things for people because it would draw people close to him. He has to hit enough of them shots to be respected. Them guys back off that man and give him that shot. That's what we covered this before. Y'all ain't remember that? We said that's in the shot when I showed the pictures of Stockton, and Coach Bud had Stockton in there working with Giannis shooting threes. So that's why I said about a good head coach that knows that he can go only as far as his superstar player can take him, and that he has to challenge. That's a coach's job, to challenge these players. Not sit up there and congratulate them when they're losing. You got to challenge these guys to do better and hold them up to accountability. If there are breakdowns happening and all this kind of stuff in the late moments of the game, that has to be called out. And if they don't fix it, then you have to move alignments around so it makes sure we solve this problem. We got to play 48 minutes of basketball, man. Not 3.5 quarters, but 4 full quarters of basketball, man.